My computer, girl. I'm going to smoke for a second.
Hola. From the West Side. It is me, DCThePurpleDiva.
And I'm taking a while. Gangsta like that.
Welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Sunday, y'all. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a good Sunday night, ending their weekend. It is a good Sunday night here on the West Side. You know, I know people are not really talking about this, but, maybe some people are. But, we've got those fires going on in Australia, and, people are kind of blaming that on climate change. Hey, Tatted Hearts. Hey, Captain Clueless. Yeah, I know it's almost 10 here on the West Side. Yeah, you're on the East Side. I'm from the Eastern time zone, but I live in the Pacific time zone now. But yeah, those fires that are going on in Australia, that is really, really horrific. And they are blaming that on, changes in the climate. And then you also have the issues going on in the city of Venice, where it's flooding. They had those huge floods there last year. And now scientists are predicting that there's going to be a faster raise of the sea level, which means, coastal areas will be threatened with flooding on a more regular basis. In other words, like in most areas, at least I know here in the United States, they have it like with the flood zones. It is. With the flood zones here in the United States, they have 100-year flood zones. So what these, meteorologists, are predicting is that it will be less than 100 years when we have these floodings. They're predicting worst case scenario that the flooding will happen on a yearly basis. Yeah, exactly, Tatted Hearts. Hey, Matt. And I mean, that's just crazy. But it was interesting. They were naming cities. They named Los Angeles. They were talking about, ports on the East Coast and then parts of Texas. And they didn't talk about New Orleans, which, I'm sorry, is below sea level. So, if this is going to impact areas, it's definitely going to impact New Orleans, even with the levee system that they have there. And now they're saying also that they're building levees in Venice to try to, help with the flooding that they're having. However, based on the way that the water is raising, these levees that they built weren't built for the kind of use that they're going to have to take. They only built them to have to raise them maybe 10 times a year. But based on how the flooding prediction is going, they would have to be raising them almost on a daily basis. And they don't think that the levee system that they built is going to be able to withstand the rate that the sea level is going to be raising because of it making the tides higher and higher. But yeah, the situation going on in Australia is horrible. I mean, to me, it's kind of reminiscent of this, what was going on in, I know, yeah, we got the earthquakes out here. And they're always talking about, hey, raining woman. Okay. And they're always talking about, California falling off, because of an earthquake. But I don't think that's going to happen. But losing the shorelines, I mean, you can see the shorelines are eroding all around the country. And, so we can see that the sea level is raising because, number one, we know that the glaciers are melting. The glaciers are melting, and it's crazy because we have a president, 45, who refuses to believe that there is environmental changes going on. Yeah, I mean, okay, so like, with the fault lines in California, yeah, there is a possibility of a horrific earthquake, but I don't think, based on where the fault lines are, that it would like crack down, California off of here. The largest fault line in this country, you guys, is in the middle of the country, in Montana. That, as a matter of fact, the largest earthquake in recorded history in the country was in Montana. Yeah, not in California, Montana. You can have an earthquake anywhere in the country. There are fault lines all over the place, as has been proven in recent years with earthquakes happening on the East Coast. They may not happen as frequently as in California, but they happen other places. Yeah, basically with the volcanoes, that's earthquakes. Those are underwater earthquakes that cause the volcanic eruptions. So, hey, 1SP. Yeah, exactly. Montana, the largest earthquake in recorded history was in the state of Montana. There's not a whole lot of people there, though. So even now, there's, everybody's pretty spread out in Montana. But yeah, earthquakes can happen anywhere. California just has more active faults. But they don't even know what they're going to do about these fires going on in Australia. It's burning up so much of the resources. I mean, to me, it's just reminiscent of the Amazon being on fire. And you just have to wonder sometimes, are these natural occurrences or somebody purposely doing this? I mean, I'm not saying that, but when they don't know what causes the fires, you just have to wonder. Move to Alaska. Exactly. Yeah, they do have earthquakes in Alaska. But like Alaska pays people a dividend for living in the state of Alaska. They get money every year for living in Alaska. Sure do. I know some, my goddaughter, her dad lived up in Alaska for a few years, and her aunt and they get a check for living in Alaska. Yeah, but it's cold in Alaska. Really cold to me. I mean, I'm sure they have days that are warmer or anything, and I'm sure if you are up there, you have friends in Alaska too. Yeah, they pay them. They get. I mean, it's a nice little check. You know, it's a nice little check that they get. It's a nice little check that they get. Because I remember when I was in college, there was this girl that was in school with me, one of my classmates that was from Alaska, and she would go home every year while we were in college to go get her check. And she, when school was over, she went back to Alaska because it was a nice check. Yeah, and I believe the longer you live in the state, the more it is. So must be it's a nice dividend. Well, I know like right now, I think for the next couple of years until I guess they run out of the money, Vermont is trying to get people to move to Vermont that work from home so that they can bring more industry to Vermont. They want people who work remotely. And they're like willing to pay them like, I think it's like $10,000 or something to live in Vermont. Yeah, Alaska is cold. I'm not moving to Alaska. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I'm like, that's not going to happen. You know? But you do get free money. Hey, yeah, look nice in our sleeping clothes. Oh, my son's in the background. He's just not saying anything right now. I posted a picture on my community tab this morning of him and I. Hey, Terry. I believe in 1SP. I know that there are like some cities in Canada that have like underground, have like the I call them the gerbil walkways and stuff because of the cold. Because they, like in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, in St. Paul, they have a lot of those where, people can walk around. Literally, they don't even have to go outside in the cold. They can go shopping, everything, just walking through these tunnels. They have a lot. They have that. Because I used to think, the people in Minneapolis, St. Paul were like, they could deal with the cold weather. No, they just have these tunnels and stuff so they can get around the city and stuff without having to go outside. I thought that was so hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, but Alaska's cold. It's cold. I know people that live there. So, and even though I grew up in an area of the country that was cold, it was not anywhere near as cold as that. And having lived in California, which is considered subtropical and stuff, I don't think I would be happy in Alaska. I'm used to, being in flip-flop weather, where I don't have to wear socks and I can wear my flip-flops all the time. So yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that the homes in Alaska are beautiful. And I'm sure, see, Florida is nice, but here's my thing. They don't have really good soil in Florida because it's so sandy, and they have all that, issues with stuff sinking because of the sand. So I don't know. I like the tax laws in Florida, but no, I don't know. The Keys are beautiful. Yeah, down in the Keys. That's different. Because the Keys are like their own little, even though they're Florida, they're different. They're more like the Caribbean in the Keys. I have a friend that lives in the Keys. She's a realtor down there. Oh, yeah, it's cold outside. Yeah, it's chilly down here too, Terry. It's chilly outside down here too. Yeah, they don't have basements in Florida. That's the thing I miss about the East Coast. I miss the basements. Because I grew up with a basement, I miss basements, and the big backyards and stuff. I miss that. But I don't miss the cold. I do miss Four Seasons kind of. I miss like the fall, and I don't mind the winter, if it's not snowing too much. And because I work from home, see, I have the luxury of not having to go out and deal with it. So I can kind of live wherever I want in the country, but I don't know if my son would, I don't know if my son would be real happy with the cold weather and stuff, considering he's a native of California. Yeah, you got the hurricanes and the tornadoes. You got the tornadoes in the Midwest too, though. West Palm Beach, I like Miami is nice, and it actually gets cold in Miami too. People think it doesn't, but it gets cold in Florida. Just not as cold as other places, but it gets cold enough that they got to put a coat on. It can dip down into, some temperatures because they're on that water. Oh, you were in Baltimore when it was a blizzard? Man, I love the harbor. Yeah, that harbor that they put in. Yeah, they got some nice shops and stuff there. Man, Baltimore just pissed me off yesterday, though. Those Ravens just didn't even try. And y'all, the games today, y'all, like Houston came and it was like Kansas City was sleeping the first quarter, literally. And then they suddenly woke up and scored 41 unanswered points before Houston woke up. But by then it was too late. I was like, that was like one of the highest scoring games in a period for a playoff. 41 points. Oh, really? Your parents have in Miami? Really? Yeah, that is very rare in Florida because even here, like in Southern California, it's only in certain areas that you will find homes with basements. Basements are not that common here either. you know, "14 countries." South Carolina. South Carolina is good. Yeah, South Carolina is good. My dad lives in North Carolina, and like that's like one of the places I would consider. You know, the Carolinas are nice. Plus, real estate is more reasonable there. You know, the cost of living is you know better when you're like over a certain age and stuff. But you know, you got to think about you. There's like what only a few states that don't have any state tax. You got what Nevada, Florida, and Texas, and I think Pennsylvania. Oh yeah, yeah. You got to get out to get the gas. Yeah, and that cold weather ain't no. Yeah, that's when you be wishing they still had full service gas stations. I mean, do they even have full service gas stations? They're hard to come by these days. To see one where they'll actually, you know, come out and pump your gas for you. They hardly have those. You know, they hardly have them at all. Oh, the mountains and the waterfalls. It must be beautiful there, 1SP. Shoot. They're very waterfalls are, I say waterfalls are probably rare in the continental United States. You've got a few places where there are some, but you know, that's, yeah. Other countries have like that kind of natural terrain. But we got mountains, and we got lakes, and we got rivers. Yep. You got plenty of places that are beautiful like that on and off the grid. But it's cool that that's on the grid, so it's you know, not too remote. I've only like in Canada, I've been to Montreal. I've been to when my dad lived in New Brunswick. I think he was in St. John. Yeah. And whatever the part of Canada is that you go to when you go through the Holland Tunnel in Detroit, I've been to that part of Canada. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that they're only in specific parts of the country. And I've never been to Buffalo, New York. I've been to New York, to the city, but I've never really visited upstate New York. They don't have a tangerine as a president. Yeah. But they be trying to drag the prime minister of Canada, which is crazy. You know. Yeah, I don't think he and 45 get along too well. I don't think they get along at all. Covington, Kentucky. I've never been to Kentucky. Honestly, I've never been to Kentucky. I've been to Tennessee. but I've never been to Kentucky. And my cousin lived in Kentucky, and she's moving from Kentucky. But she lived in Kentucky. And now she's moving from Kentucky. But she's been living in Kentucky because she was a professor at the University of Kentucky. British Columbia. Yeah, see, I've never, and which is wild because I'm on the West Coast, you know. But I've never been, I've been to Seattle once, but yeah, I haven't been to the West Coast of Canada. I haven't. And I heard it's really, really beautiful in BC. Yeah, see, I've never been to Kentucky. I've been to all the states around Kentucky, but I have never been to Kentucky. And my cousin lived in Kentucky. Like I said, she still lives there right now, but she's getting ready to move. Yeah, because she was a professor at the University of Kentucky. Yeah, fishing in in Nova Scotia. Yeah, I can see that. I could see that. I've been to Maine, Tatted Heart. Now, I've been to Maine. Yeah, I've been to all the states up and down the East Coast. Growing up, because like my one of my mother's brothers, one of my uncles, went to prep school in New Hampshire. So we got to drive all the way up, all the way up the East Coast and go through all the beautiful states and everything. We went to go see him graduate, and we went to Vermont and to Maine. So I've been to all of the states on the East Coast. Hey, Miss Pamela. Maine is beautiful. It is beautiful in Maine. I know it gets cold in the wintertime, but I wasn't there in the winter. So I didn't go there in the wintertime. It was the spring, and it was beautiful. It was a little chilly, but it wasn't cold. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was beautiful in Maine. Vermont is beautiful too. All of those states, up there in New England are beautiful. I mean, all the trees and stuff. That's the thing I miss about, the East Coast to California. Well, I'll say Southern California, because they got plenty of, trees and stuff in the northern part of the state. But yeah, it's like the trees just, like you drive down the highway and it's like forests on both sides and stuff. And you don't have that really in Southern California. I'm sure there were a bunch of trees here at one point in history, and I'm sure we cut them all down, so except for what's up in the mountains, and then you have Northern California, but you have Oregon and Washington that have all these beautiful, beautiful trees, because we haven't torn those states up like we have California. But there's some beautiful parts of the country. I agree. There are some beautiful parts of this country that are hidden. And it's probably a good thing. or else we'll figure out some way to screw that up, I mean, you have places like Yellowstone and, that we've jacked up and stuff, trying to traipse through. So we can be one with nature. That's what I was talking about. They're offering, well, I know it's like it, but the initial thing is that they want you to move there. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about that earlier, 1SP. Yeah, they want people who work remotely too. If you work remotely, they want you, yeah, from home. They have that program too. They got a couple of programs. Vermont's trying to get people to move to the state. Because what they're trying to do is to strengthen in their, voting in the electoral power by getting more people into the state. And they've got these monetary incentives, because I think the other program with the remote thing is like a 3-year program. But that one's even better. $80,000. I'm sure they cut it up into a couple of into installments, as you live there. You still not feeling well, Miss Pam? You should go. Yeah, you if you don't, you might need to go get. Yeah. Well, I hope you start to feel better. Because I know I had that cold during the holidays. And I just finally got over the cough. Yes, we go to the doctor. I've been waiting for my new my new insurance card to come in the mail so that I could, because now I got to get a new doctor. Such a pain in the butt. Every time they change the insurance at work, they change it. And sometimes, like, you gotta start changing doctors. It's a pain in the butt, so I've got to change doctors again. And my dad's a doctor, so usually when I have to change doctors, I'll usually ask him about people he knows that live out that are still out here in California. Because I trust his judgment. And it's hard to find good doctors. Yeah. Yeah, I was drinking a lot of tea and honey, Miss Pamela. I would drink some tea and honey. Really, 1SP? Hey, Jack. You are so funny, Jack. Yeah. And the weather isn't helping either, Pamela, because this weather is kind of crazy right now, especially up in the high desert. So there's a legalized medicinal I know that in Vermont. Yeah, I know same-sex marriage, so ethnic same-sex marriages are recognized as Black or Hispanic families. Really? Interesting. In Vermont. That's interesting. Well, I'm not planning on getting into a same-sex marriage, but, I look at marriage as a civil thing these days. So, it's not about God.
You should marry another woman, and then I could be both of y'all side niggas.
Nah. He's over here talking crazy and stuff. Let me see. But yeah, but Vermont's a beautiful state. I mean, you guys, I'm walking across the room. The possibility of that money for moving there would be nice, but eventually, I see that the marijuana thing's probably going to be a legal thing across the country as states keep legalizing it, because they want us to be sleep. They want us. Yeah, they want everybody to be in a haze. Hey, fine as wine. Hey, AKA James. Yeah, so, I mean, my opinion on marijuana is that I don't think that it should be a Schedule 1. Because there are things that are more serious that are not Schedule 1. And the reasons that it was made Schedule 1, I think were racist reasons at the time. And misgotten information. So, I think it shouldn't be Schedule 1. And I think the majority of the country is thinking that way too. So I think that eventually it probably will not be a Schedule 1. I don't know if it's going to happen under this administration. Hey, Miss Raining Woman, you came back. Ex-convicts. Well, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with ex-convicts getting their right to vote back, depending on what they went to jail for. But I do think that that's a good program, along with the, being able to be released for employment and retirement. Oh, yeah, wine and Hennessy. Oh, there's this song. There's this old song. I forget who is it by. It was called Strawberries and Hennessy. Y'all remember that song? Y'all remember that song, Strawberries and Hennessy? It was from one of them. I can't think of the chick's name. I remember that song. It was called Strawberries and Hennessy. I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, 1SP. That's why I said what I said. An ex-con, I don't think that they could be an unbiased juror. So, you know what I mean? Even though most of us consider jury duty punishment. Hey, Uppity Unicorn. How are you? Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that law in Vermont then, because if it's going to give an ex-convict his right to vote and his or her, sorry, right to vote, and they could be on jury duty, you know, that's kind of scary. You know, I mean, and then would they be the be the preemptive for attorneys on cases? Or would that information be available to the attorneys? Would the attorneys know that one of the jurors is an ex-con? You know what I mean? Thank you, Miss Uppity Unicorn. Also in your chats as well. Also positive vibes in yours as well, Miss Raining Woman. I'm just looking at what you do. Oh, wine and Hennessy, man. Well, I've already told you, Uppity Unicorn, that, there B1 is but a small portion of Black YouTube. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. It is a small portion of Black YouTube. And if you have good content, people are going to listen. If you don't get back up early in the morning, I'll take that hit for you, Miss Raining Woman. I'll take the hit. It's my bad. I kept you up. Yeah, Uppity, you just keep growing your channel. You just keep putting out your material. Keep networking, like I told you. Going around to all these positive, networks and everything, and you will grow your channel because you will get people who want to listen. You need to hook up with like some of the African sisters, like Favor, Brava, a couple of other ones that I follow. But the thing is that when they do their live streams, a lot of them do those silent live streams. So you have to like catch them when they're in other people's live streams so you can introduce yourself to them. Exactly. I know. But keep going to some of the other live streams. Like go to some of the they've got a lot of people like like South Americans, Brazilians, a lot of people in the islands, like in Jamaica, the Philippines, and you have a lot of people over on the continent. Like I have some friends that are Ethiopian, Kenyan, Nigerian, Ghanaian. I'm just saying. And then, of course, I've got friends that are across the pond in the UK and on the continent in Europe. The silent live streams, usually they'll have something up there like a teddy bear, flowers, fish, swimming. They usually have something up there. And then they'll have like something saying, asking you to stay in the live stream for at least 15 minutes. And then you just, basically network with the people that are in the stream. Sometimes they'll have music going on their silent live streams, because there's like, there's this one channel called Relaxing, and they have this relaxing music, and they'll have it going for hours, and people come in there and network in their stream with the music just going. And those are usually like going in the middle of the night, like when you can't sleep. Yeah, bunch of those. And other ones to go to up at the Unicorn are some of like the crafting ones. I'll tell you a good one to go to is Ola Joe. She crochets, but she has fun live streams, and she rings a bell when everybody comes in. She does like trivia stuff in her live streams. She's really fun. Ola Joe, the crocheting sailor. Yeah, she is she's a vet. I believe she was in the Navy. Obviously, sailor. Yeah. But you should check out her live streams. She doesn't do them like every day, but she's got like over 2,000 subscribers. She gets a lot of people in her live streams. Go and check, Raining Woman. But Ola Joe, yeah, it's Ola Joe, the crocheting sailor. She's a sister, if y'all were wondering. Yeah, she's a mod in a couple of the streams that I'm in. I think she's a mod in TR Nari's stream too. I think she's one of his mods too. Yeah, but her streams are fun. A murderer become a preacher. How? I don't know. I'm sure one has. I guess you have to look at what it is. Are they truly repentant? Did they serve the time? Did they go to jail for their crime? Yeah, you talking about the Apostle Paul? Yeah, yeah, he was a murderer. There people in the Bible that were prophets that also were murderers. Moses murdered someone. So I guess you just really have to look at what's going on, and it's not really for us to determine who's called of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, pimps, and that's because a lot of those pimps, that it's like, because you have some because of that mentality, the pimping mentality with some preachers. What's that one who calls himself a preacher now? I can't even think of his name. The one that's Snoop Dogg's friend, Don something. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bishop Don Juan, that dude. Yeah, that one who's a pimp become preacher.
Green for the money,
you know,
for the honey.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The murder. Were they defending themselves? Was it, or was it a premeditated murder? Was it, manslaughter? What happened? Did they plead out to murder? Well, he's supposedly a minister, but we don't know. He could have got his minister's license online, Jack. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he could have got his minister's license online. I don't know how he got it. You know how it goes. I know. Yeah, with Moses, he was defending somebody else's honor. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it would be God have to, hey, if they called by God, you have men that when they're in jail, they become they suddenly find God and they become a minister while they're in jail and stuff, so I don't know. I don't know if I could be in a fellowship, with a minister that's a murderer, in today's society, because we're not talking about Moses and Apostle Paul. So yeah, that part. That would be kind of hard for me. Oh, Paul did not kill in self-defense, but that was before his conversion, right? Because wasn't Paul a Pharisee? That's what I'm saying, 1SP. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that when we're talking about this, what were the circumstances behind the murder conviction? You know what I mean? What happened? Was it in self-defense? Were they really guilty, or did they plead out? Because sometimes you have people who will plead out even though they didn't do anything. So that's what I'm saying. You'll have somebody who plead guilty even though they're innocent. I know, Jack. That's what I'm saying. People can. Yeah, a lot of people just get those licenses so that they can officiate on weddings and stuff, and they get that stuff online. It's kind of scary, though, isn't it? I agree, Reigning Woman. I agree. Yep, that's true. That's true, Matt. That's true. That's what I'm saying. You have people who go to jail and are convicted of crimes that they didn't do. So that's why, to me, it's, if you've got someone who is a minister and they were convicted of murder, I guess I would have to know the circumstances, know the story. I agree. I agree. But you know, the legalistic way that the world deals with it now, you do have to be licensed to perform ceremonies and certain things. No, you don't have to be licensed to preach the word. But if you want to marry someone, you do have to have a license. So, you know, that's true. I mean, but, you know, the licensing process to become a minister is sometimes laughable anyway. You know, and then some people are licensed by specific churches. You know what I mean? So that means their license is tied to the church that they're associated with. So, you know, I mean, we're all supposed to be ministers. If you're a believer in the Most High, then we're all ministers, and we don't need a license to preach the word. Truthfully. Yeah, the Central Park Five were railroaded. Y'all know I still have not watched that Netflix thing. I can't bring myself to watch it. I want to get pissed off. You know, because I remember that whole situation. I was so angry when that stuff was going on because we could see that they were being railroaded. You know? So, but I guess I'm going to need to watch it. Everybody says it's really, really good, you know, and so that I could actually have a conversation about it, I probably should watch that to see people are saying that it is really giving a good, true depiction. And so maybe I should look at it, especially since I know some of the people who are in that, you know, I should support it just for that reason, because I have a friend that's in it. Yeah, but a friend of mine who went to high school with me is in it. So I'm going to take a look at it. I don't know if you guys, if you saw like the Bobby Brown story, and then you saw the New Edition story. So you guys know the lady that played Bobby Brown's mom. Her name is Sandy McCree. She went to high school with me. Yeah, she went to high school with me, and she's in that Central Park 5 thing on Netflix too. So I'm gonna look at one. I want to look at one of the episodes. I want to look at one part of it and see if I can get through one of them without getting pissed off. Really? Well, I mean, that's a very good thing, 1SP, that Vermont is doing, you know, because that would help those who are truly rehabilitated, you know. And the only issue we have is that most of the prisons in this country are not for rehabilitation. You know, they're just the modern day plantation, in my opinion, privatized. So if they have a prison system in that state that is truly doing that type of work, then that's commendable. Yeah. The chick in there, Sandy McCree, she went to high school with me. She's from Washington, D.C. She went to high school with me. Yeah, I know. I know. That's the thing, Terry. You know, that's the thing. That's my issue. You know, but I guess I should, look at it, because people are saying that it does shed the light. It tells the truth, which is why so many people were uncomfortable with it being released. Yeah, I guess so. It does mean that in the state of Vermont, 1SP. But that's just one state. You know what I mean? We would need to have that type of reform across the entire country, you know? And if that happened, then, we'd have a whole lot more men of color in viable situations to succeed. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Jack. They would have to change the prison system into a rehabilitation system, which it is not at this current time. Hey, Darren. Yeah, but the thing is that, I mean, they claim they're trying to change it in California. We'll see. We'll see. One of the things that Jerry Brown tried to do supposedly before he left office, he tried to undo some of the damage that he had done here in the state of California as far as the 3 strikes, but, there's still resistance to that. And, now that Gavin Newsom is fighting off lawsuits about the Clippers moving to Inglewood, which is just insane stupidity, but whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself about the mayor of the city of Inglewood, California. I don't particularly care for that man. I don't think he's for the people of Inglewood. That's just my personal opinion of him. Because they're trying to outprice the market in that particular city, so that it'll become gentrified, And let me just say that, the players, most of the players that play for the teams, they're out in the suburbs. They don't live down here in Inglewood. So there's no reason for them to, be raising the rents to these astronomical prices and raising the house prices to these astronomical prices in Southern California. However, they are saying that the housing market is going to start to cool off. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens with that. But yeah, the governor is being sued in regards to the Clippers moving to the city of Inglewood. I don't know how that works, but I think it's because, the state was involved somehow in that deal going down. And now I believe it's Madison Square Garden, who owns the Forum, is really, really upset. Yeah, no, they need to. No, I agree with you, Jack. The reform needs to start with the judicial system of how people are being, put into the prisons with charges being stacked. That's what needs to be. It needs to be reformed on that side, so that you're not sending these people to prison for 40 and 50 years. in the first place. I agree. It needs to start on the front end. You know, they need to do that. But at the same time, they need to be doing something about, you know, people who have been put into prison and looking at whether they should still be in prison. Yes, it is. But some people go for life without the eligibility of parole. 1SP. And if they go life without the eligibility of parole, then that means that they have to serve the full 30 years. But then you have the way that they do it now is that they give them years, like 60 years. You know, which means they're going to die in prison, or they give them 100 years, you know, crazy sentences. So they don't do life sentences now. They'll do years. You know, that's what they do. Yeah, but like I have an ex-brother-in-law that is in the prison system, and I think that he was given the life sentence, which is like 30 years. You know? And, you know, his crime was since they couldn't get the person who actually committed the crime, they threw everything at him, even though he wasn't even in the same state as where the crime was committed at the time. But, you know, other people lied to get deals. And so he ended up taking the charges, and he didn't have a great attorney. Yeah, but you know, it's like I'll just speak on the prison system in the state of California. It's jacked up, because they stack charges here. They stack the charges, you know, and they don't do it like them. They don't have it as them doing them concurrently. They make it so that they have to serve each one on top of the other one on top of the other one. And that's how they make them have these 40, 50 year sentences for nonviolent crimes. Exactly, Jack. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They stacked the charges on black men. They didn't do that with this crazy George Zimmerman fool. You know? And he's still a loose cannon. He's still a loose cannon. But they do need to look at the fact of, you know, who are getting the harder charges for the same crime. You know, unfortunately, when they do that, it's definitely on race lines. I mean, that's not any big secret, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like in, hey, health, weight, and real talk. Like that's what I'm saying. In California, that was part of what Jerry Brown was trying to fix, was trying to amend before he left office. While he was in office this second term, he recognized, at least to some extent, the damage that he had done by allowing the 3 strikes laws and all of that stuff, and allowing, really taking liberties from the actual judges on the case and giving all of the power to the DA, because the DA is allowed to stack all these charges, so the judges aren't able, they have to give them these minimum sentences based on those charges, you know, versus them being able to do reducing anything the way that they have it, because they stack the charges. It's a broken system, but it's not meant to keep people out of jail. It's meant to put more people in jail, to feed the system. They didn't have enough to get the conviction. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Jack. But like, if that were a black man, they would have started with murder 1. Yeah, if it was a black man and it was a white boy, they would have started with murder 1 in the stand your ground state of Florida. That's another thing. That's another issue I have with the state of Florida. You know, I mean, Florida and Texas have to stand your ground, you know, but it's very, to me, in my opinion, it's racially slanted. So, you know, it doesn't work equally for everyone. The system, well, the judicial system, as far as convictions for people that are of color, black or brown, who, for all intents and purposes, are a smaller portion of the population, is disproportionately higher than their white counterparts. And I don't know if that's because of, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Most jails are owned by private entities. They're not owned by the states. Exactly, Jack. I know. Yeah, Zimmerman claimed he's Hispanic and he's also Khazarian Jew. And he claimed his Jewish heritage more so. I don't know. I think he's Cuban, but he's white Cuban. Yeah, exactly. His father is a judge, even though he was a screw up himself. All right. Good night, Raining Woman. Thank you for coming. Yeah, but that the whole George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin thing, just that really set off a lot of stuff, you know. I don't think that case was handled correctly, in my opinion. But you know, they haven't really, you know, done anything to rectify that situation. But, you know, overall, I would say that it's going to take, you know, a lot of states to take action similar to those that Vermont is taking, if that's a serious rehabilitation program. And it would mean changing the way that the prisons do business, you know. And I don't know, you know, how that's going to happen, because most of the prisons are privatized, and, you know, they have boards of directors and they have stockholders and shareholders who make money off of the prisons. You know, if they pay dividends, I tell y'all to advise y'all to invest in those corporations, but most of those corporations don't pay out dividends. Yeah, his dad told him, did give him good advice, you know. I mean, the judicial system in Florida, we know it's kind of jacked up. We know it's kind of jacked up. But I don't even know. Like I said, it would take nationwide effort, you know, and it would take a president that was serious about prison reform and not just giving it lip service. It would take that, you know. I mean, because every president, you know, they pardon people and let people out of prison and everything, but no one has really made that part of their presidential, you know, platform and actually done it. They keep leaving it up to the states to do it on their own, and it's not going to happen. It really is going to require a national effort. You know, maybe the states need to take back over the prisons themselves and take them back from private corporations. So, you know, yeah, but you know, Jack, people don't even, I don't think a lot of people understand their Fifth Amendment right. You know, I think maybe I should, I'm going to do a little research so that I can come correct. And then maybe we can make that a discussion on one of the, on another night, just about what the Fifth Amendment says and really what our rights are under the Fifth Amendment, you know, because maybe people just don't really understand and they just don't know. So yeah, I think that's something that we should that I'll bring I'll do some research on and bring it back maybe later on this week. Yeah, somebody in prison might have the cure for cancer. You never know. They do allow them to go to college. You know, you got people who have their PhDs and stuff in prisons. You know, seriously. I would like that, Jack. Yeah. Are you on Instagram, Jack? If you're on Instagram, you can send it to me in a DM. I'm DCThePurpleDiva on Instagram too. Or you can send it to me on Twitter. Twitter is ThePurpleDiva DC. Yeah, I'd like to see that information though. Okay, cool. Yeah, put it in my comments. Put it in my comments and then I'll go check it out. Because I know there's been a couple of people who have done like little like short videos about, you know, how you should respond if you get stopped by the police, you know, just, you know, seriously, you know, but what if they come to your front door? You know what I mean? That your encounters aren't always on the street. But yeah, I'll take a look at that. Thank you, Jack. But yeah, I truly think that people just don't really understand. A lot of people don't understand their Fifth Amendment rights. They don't understand what it means when you say I take the Fifth. Yeah, but I'd like to look at it anyway. Because it would be really helpful. I think it would be really helpful in you know, coming back to the group, coming back to the live. So that would be real helpful. Because a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand Fifth Amendment rights. Because, you know, most of us are not ever expecting to be stopped by the police. You know, and, you know, but you should be prepared just in case you are. You know, and that's unfortunately part of the conversation that we have to have with our kids and stuff. You know, because like even with my son being on the spectrum, you think I don't have to try to have conversations with him about how he can't wear certain stuff because he's a black man, and even though he has autism, it doesn't matter. I agree with you, 1SP, in regards to that. You know, but like I said, it's going to take more than one state. You know, and I know this and other presidents in this country have claimed they wanted to do prison reform, but nobody's really done it. You know, letting a few people out of prison who didn't deserve to be there in the first place is, you know, not the way you do it. The way you do it is you fix the front end of the system of people getting in there at the same time as people are, you know, being fought to get out that actually are innocent. You know, and then you fix what's going on inside of the prisons for those who are in the prisons so that when they do get out, because, you know, a lot of them do eventually get out, that they are able to contribute to society and not just end up back in there. Like, you know, making it very hard for them to get a job when they get out of prison. So, like I said, it's going to be a an all around effort. But Jack, send me that information because I definitely want to. I'd like to add that to the discussion on the Fifth Amendment. But guys, I'm gonna get ready to get off of here. You know, tomorrow's the beginning of the work week. Woohoo! And as I've told you guys, my job has been getting more demanding. But that's good because I'm up for a raise in a couple of months, so I don't mind. But so I need to get a little bit more rest tonight. But I will definitely be back on tomorrow. And Jack, as soon as I get that one from you, I'm going to take a look at that. Yeah, I know. It's got to be. They got to do it a different way. They can't. It can't be about the money for the prisons. It's got to be about. It's got to be about truly rehabilitating those that can be rehabilitated, and then those who can't, then maybe it is what it is for them. So, but we will continue this discussion this week, guys. I thank everybody for coming through. Thank you, Jack, for sending me that information in advance. Thank you, everybody, for the conversation in the chat. I appreciate you guys spending your Sunday evening or early Monday morning with me. I will be back on tomorrow night. And as always, peace and blessings from the West Side. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you, everybody, for coming on through. As always, bye.